Homecoming, so big the Blues Brothers showed up. How about that? It's the 100th edition, and they claim they've got the best. It's certainly the most colorful. We've had the honor of being here for a few of those homecomings. Weather couldn't be better. 70 degrees. The wind is as light as it's been in the last 72 hours. Windstorms were throughout DFW all the way into Oklahoma back on Thursday here at Boone Pickens Stadium. How much did he invest in this program? And Mike Gundy, the beneficiary of so much of it, with a brand spanking new rollover contract. He'll never be under 5 years for the rest of his career. Oklahoma State won the toss, deferred, and they kick off. It'll be handled by Tanner Brown. And Kenny Logan will say, we'll see you at the 25. And that's where the Jayhawks take over. The transfer from North Texas got in 7 months ago and worked his way into the starting position out of Lake Ridge High School in Mansfield, Texas. 17 of 23 for 246, a touchdown, no interceptions. He carried the ball 14 times for 59 yards. After you take away a little bit of sack yardage, that was some performance for him. And Andy Kotelnicki, the offensive coordinator, only hopes that he can build on that. Devin Neal, the aforementioned running back, out of this pistol look on first down from the 25. Here's the option, and there goes Bean for 9.
And Tim, they did a wonderful job of building from that look to a twins look, and you got Luke Grimm, the wide receiver, blocking for him downfield. That was impressive.
That offensive line is anchored by Nowitzki, the center. Bostic, their tackle outside, is their leader, a redshirt senior. And the skilled people, as we touched on, led by Lassiter. Arnold is another guy that can move the chains as well.
See, what they just did there, Tim, you see number 2 in the slot for Oklahoma State. He came down in a coverage that's Tanner McAllister, the safety in the slot. He comes down and pretends like he's coming to blitz. They just pulled Oklahoma State out of a blitz package.
Neal, nothing doing against that front, and the Cowboys are so good there. Tyler Lacey making that tackle. They are big, they are brawny and tough. Almost 500+ starts between these guys. Brock Martin, who's been playing with a dislocated elbow, back for the second game, but they're tough up the gut. Rodriguez and Harper, leaders for this team, and that 5 defensive back set. Jarek Bernard Converse is their best cover corner. He got picked on quite a bit last week in Ames by Brock Purdy, and I'm sure he's looking for a big night tonight. OSU's third down defense, number 1 in the Big 12.
That's an interesting formation here to Tim to come up.
Neal, not there. Yep. He is not there. And that third down efficiency will hold up.
Malcolm Rodriguez, the whole group was in there. Tim Devin Harper, number 16, the inside linebackers. Those two as a tandem is about as good as they come. 16 and 20. Watch them inside. Feel and replace. Read and react. That's what this group, coached by Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator, excel at. They are some of the best in working in a unit, one of the most mature defenses in the nation.
Reese Vernon in to punt it away. They got 8 yards on first down, a yard on second, and Nata Senor on third. Presley is back deep in single safety, calls for the fair catch, and takes it at the 22-yard line, and that's where the Pokes will take over after a 43-yard boot. Spencer Sanders, up and down through his career, 18-7 as a starter, but really put it together the last couple of times out. Standout game against Kansas State, 22 of 34, and that one, they need him to protect the ball better. If he does, then this Oklahoma State defense can take control of complementary football and allow Mike Gundy's offense to just blaze a trail with their run game. And this uprising star, Jaylen Warren, who transferred in from Utah State. Play fake, Sanders. Looping it long for Presley. Nice. Incomplete, flag down.
We said in the open, Brennan Presley is a wonderful guy. Whether they use him at X or at Y, he is a vertical threat. He can split double coverage as we unpack what happened.
Defense, number 3, 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So, Tim, you can see one-on-one coverage, he can't be covered. He actually had to slow down to try to get a shot and opportunity at that ball. You're not going to overthrow this guy. He can run underneath it. He's got 10.5 speed in 100 meters. He's an unbelievable vertical guy at about 44-inch vertical jump. He's an eraser. I said it in the open, man. This kid is impressive.
Warren in the backfield, and he'll tote it. He'll counterplay. Out for 10 yards and another first down, Oklahoma State.
This is the one thing the defensive coordinator for Kansas, Brian Portland, said that he wanted to do is be physical, and that's certainly not one way to do it. It's to let them get those gas yardage on those early downs.
Going with some tempo early. Outside to Bryson Green. He and Brother Blaine, a part of this offense. You'll see a lot of them. And Oklahoma State up front with an offensive line that gets the job done. Godlewski is the center. Springfield and Birmingham on the outside. They've really begun to block well in the run game. Tay Martin is a transfer from Wazoo that played big. Cassidy, you'll see him both as an H-back and tight end position, number 90. They'll use 3 of them before the night's done. Little out pattern to Tay, and Martin is down at contact at the 36-yard line. Romello Dotson, number 13, a redshirt freshman making the stop. You got freshmen at both corner spots for Kansas.
And Romello's got good size. He's about 6'1", 180, but he's a redshirt freshman. And, Tim, that's the theme of the night as far as Kansas is concerned. And so whether or not Oklahoma State will take advantage of those 2 corners, one of them a replacement, also a freshman at both sides.
Sanders, little curl pattern. As Bryson Green takes it in. They'll spot him at the 26-yard line, and that's Shad Dabney. Cameron, his given name, the freshman in for Jacoby Bryant, who got hurt this week in practice, did not make the trip.
So that was the 3rd of the 3 freshmen that we're talking about. Jacoby Bryant, as you pointed out, Tim, and Romello Dotson on the other side. 3 freshmen, and so watch the Cowboys see if they can manipulate and work those edges.
First down. Sanders will keep it. Beautiful fake on the zone read. And he's down to the 17-yard line. Stopped by Kenny Logan, number 1, who's been a tackling machine for Brian Borland's defense.
Middle zone and white zone. Yesterday we asked Coach, hey, Coach, what do you prefer, the inside zone? He said, well, we like that mid-side zone. When you go between that guard and that tackle, just outside, it's not over the center, but just a little bit wider.
On 2nd and 1, Sanders with time, now running out. Lets it fly as he was wrapped up on what was really a coverage play. Kyron Johnson, number 15, their best defensive lineman, number 15, had 3 tackles, a solo, and a sack last week against OU. As you look at that front, this is a defense that struggled at every level except against the pass. And in large measure, these linebackers are going to be counted on. Bates, Potter, and company. Jeremy Robinson getting playing time in tonight's game, in for Malcolm Lee, who's unable to go. Sanders, I think he's behind the line to make. Did not get there. Stepped out of bounds. He's a little upset with himself as a result. I think he thought he was there when he stepped out, and he wasn't.
Yeah, Tyron Berryhill, the Sam linebacker, number 6, is working outside too. You got a couple other teammates chiming in, trying to make a play on the outside. Spencer's got some speed. He's a dual threat guy. He can do it all, man. You got to account for him.
4th down, they're going for it. It's less than a yard to go.
I think they're going to try to draw him off, Tim.
Warren is the setback. Oh, he's stoned by Kenny Logan. That is a strong safety that is their best. Had 12 tackles, 9 solos in a game against Duke. Also a forced fumble. His brother Brandon played at Florida. He made a big-time stick right there. Cowboys give it up on downs after moving quickly. Nothing doing, says KU. A huge stop on 4th down after a really good drive by Oklahoma State to open the game. Kansas takes over on downs from their own 16. Their second possession, they were 3 and out in their first. Neal, a yard, and that's about all. Let's get Spencer Tillman's takes for this one.
Well, yardage is going to be hard to come by against this defensive unit, but the objective is points per possession. They know they're going to get shortened, so they got to be down with OP3. That's offensive points per possession, Tim. old school music tilt there for you. Meantime, the bean counters. You got to count for number 17 because, as we said in the open, Jason Bean, man, off-platform throws, he can make them. I guarantee he's going to have at least 1 or 2 of them on this drive here.
I know what you mean by naughty by nature.
What?
I know all of that.
Bean, my boy.
And as for bean counting, I've been hearing way too much of that lately. Second down and 9.
Here he is.
Bean. You know, he really does throw it better on the run, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sure does. You know, and right there on that particular play, Tim, he's looking to throw back across the field to Trevor Wilson, number 7, who's coming underneath on a shallow intermediate route. He loves throwing across his body. I remember there was a day when they never, ever encouraged the quarterback to make that throw. But, you know, Patrick Mahomes was the inflection point. He changed everything at Texas Tech.
Third down and 5 coming up. Malcolm Rodriguez, that linebacker, you're looking at him.
Well, he's good, Tim.
Another one of those wrestlers that can really get it done in the open field. They've got a tremendous wrestling program here at Oklahoma State. Rolling left, there he is. He's wide open and a drop. Grimm had that one in his sights. It wasn't particularly accurate, but certainly one that could have been caught. And had it been caught, Spencer, it would have gone for a long, long distance.
Well, number 20, Malcolm Rodriguez, was in his hip pocket. That's the reason why he was rushing to get the ball out there. But you're absolutely right. He's a better quarterback, a better thrower when he's executing on the run. And I think that actually helps his velocity too, Tim, and his accuracy.
Vernon to punt it away. Beautiful.
Great point.
And a fair catch made by Presley at the 31-yard line. Well, on their first drive, they went 62 yards on 8 plays, but got stoned in the red zone. Stay tuned. Yes, indeed. The Hall of Famer Jimmy Johnson was here at Oklahoma State. Gave way to Pat Jones, and of course Mike Gundy played for Pat and became an assistant of GA. Spent his entire career here since. Was the offensive coordinator for Les Miles, ironically, before Les got the job at LSU, and of course has been in the news recently in Kansas. Lance Leipold taking over for him suddenly right as fall practice began.
In the pocket.
How about this? How about this from Sanders, huh?
So much connectedness there, Tim, with his head, his feet, his decision. Everything about this play is outstanding. It shows you the maturity of this junior, this redshirt junior. Watch him step up in the pocket. His eyes go from left to right, feels the pressure, and watch him shift the ball in the other hand. Puts it away from the defender to get a couple of extra yards, not worrying about having to keep him at bay. That is a total and complete run right there. Everything's connected. Head, decision-making, legs, everything.
His quarterback coach, Tim Rattay, has worked wonders with him, especially in recent games. Warren spun down by Kyron Johnson. And if that name Rattay sounds familiar, former 49ers quarterback and Louisiana Tech star years ago. Yeah. And Johnson's down on the field. That would be a huge loss.
Yeah, that's a big loss.
They need him to stay healthy. He's their best player up front. Became more flexible, added a lot of inches to his vertical jump. Matt Gildersleeve, their strength coach, did a heck of a job with him. Stay tuned. Second leading tackler on the team, Kyron Johnson, up under his own power, making his way back to the sidelines. That is really good news. Honorable mention, all Big 12 a year ago.
Extremely productive. 3.5 sacks leads the team, and they missed those big plays from him defensively.
Jaylen Warren in the backfield, out of the shotgun.
Nice timing.
Screen going to Warren. Jaylen Warren inside the 25 to the 23. Ricky Thomas, the undersized safety, runs him down, the super senior from New Orleans.
Now, Oklahoma State's not going to go tempo in the strictest sense. As we take a look at this play, the timing on it is perfect. Look at the 4-man rush. Everybody's at the quarterback. That means that your running back is wide open, and they do an excellent job downfield blocking, advancing the football down the field. Wonderful timing on the screen.
He had Ogaleski, he had Sills, he had Birmingham, he had a convoy out there. Quick out to Tay Martin. He can do a lot. with the football after he catches it. He's down at the 18. Thomas made the stop. He put on a show a few years ago against Oregon in a game we had while he was playing at Wazoo.
There's a reason why Dotson is playing off coverage, because he is so athletic. As he go pace and tempo, getting Spencer out of the pocket and moving around, he's directing traffic downfield.
A lot of green grass.
Nice.
That shows a little toughness.
That's physical, boy.
He's down to the 8-yard line, and again, Thomas makes the stop. That's a gain of 9, and the crowd loves it.
Yeah, Ricky Thomas doesn't like that. Puts one on number 3. So my 3's bigger than your 3. He lowers the boom. Hey, low man is supposed to win, Timmy, but Spencer's tough.
Look out. Martin. He was covered by Dotson. Looked good early.
That's an excellent throw, though, because those are the types of throws that, let's say a year and a half, 2 years ago, Spencer would overthrow it or put it over the shoulder where you can't make it at all. He's got accuracy now, and that's something that separates him from where he was a couple of years ago.
He's had health issues. I think
he has. No question about it.
Been up and down in large measure because he's been hurt. 3rd and 1. Warren. Inside the 5 and down to the 4. Rich Miller, the 5th linebacker at Buffalo, followed the team from all the way here to Kansas, coming over with Brian Borland and head coach Lance Leipold. He's been the real leader for this very young and still learning Kansas defense.
Outside zone to the right.
1st and goal.
Option game.
A lot of room. Touchdown, Sanders.
Tim, if you remember that meeting yesterday, I asked Coach about running away from the numbers. Here's an example of that, running option to the field side where there are fewer white jerseys. You can see there's only 2 guys out there. There's one that's going to option off of. A seal block on the perimeter leaves you an extra guy if you wanted to pitch it. So Oklahoma State did an excellent job in pre-snap identifying where the numbers were not and running away from them.
Tanner Brown with the extra point. And we thank you for your service. And they thank Spencer Sanders for his. Cowboys go up 7. 4th rushing touchdown, 8th of his career. Two drives that were excellent. They cashed in on one of them. 8 plays, 68 yards. Sanders running to the field and making it happen. He was in a position where they could not convert on a 4th down after a 62-yard drive in their opening possession. Tanner Brown ready to kick it away. Kenny Logan Jr. is back deep, number 1. And another boomer that will go through the end zone. Hey, let's meet Lance Leipold, one of the really good guys in this business. And you talk about working your way up. He did that as a player, as a GA, Wisconsin Whitewater quarterback, a Division III power, would later lead them to national championships. He was 106-6 there. Got hired by Danny White, now the AD at Tennessee, formerly at UCF, while at Buffalo, and turned that program in the right direction in the MAC. And this is his 6th month anniversary. He came in on April the 30th and really didn't meet any of his guys, see what he had until fall practice began. Corey Laughlin is in the game at running back. This pass is airmailed and may be picked. It may be indeed. Jason Taylor II with the INT.
Tim, so much pressure was coming from an inside game from the Cowboys. Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator, really wanted to bring pressure on this young quarterback. You can see the games and deals working. Solid coverage on the back end. Everybody, Jason Taylor, the safety, got everyone locked down.
Yeah, you know, Spencer Arnold touched that ball.
Yep.
He tipped it, and on the tip drill, Taylor got it. Watch the trajectory of the ball change once it hits Arnold right there.
Yeah, number 92, Nathan Latu, was there in the back on the defensive end on that back side. He was the one that came across him.
So now an opportunity for Oklahoma State to really take command. And this could be Kansas's worst nightmare, to fall behind early to a team like the Cowboys when you're trying to prove that you can do to this club what you did to Oklahoma a week ago when they got off to a startling start.
You nailed it. That's exactly the narrative you were hoping for, to give your team some confidence you can coach with.
Presley. Good work defensively by Kansas staying at home. That, by the way, was Taylor's second interception there. 85-yard pick six was his other to give them the ball.
Jeremy Robinson was trying to defend on that number 90, and again, that speed with Presley, no matter where he is, at the Y position, X, they'll move this guy all around. He's so athletic, and they've got to find a way to continue to get the ball in his hands because he's a difference maker. Again, the defensive end who was in for Malcolm Lee, number 90, Jeremy Robinson, couldn't get there, Tim.
Jaden Bray checks into the game, 85. Back to the pistol look. Sanders. Look at that. He knows right where the green grass is, and he gets it to the 31-yard line. I think that's where he began the slide. The mark is a little further back than I would have thought, but that's where they mark him. Actually closer to the 32-yard line than the 30.
Yeah, but the good thing about what Spencer's doing right now, he's playing within himself. We've got a hobbled Jayhawk limping off the field there, but number 3 is going to another level with respect to his play. As I said before, everything is connected. Wise, quality choices he's making.
Dominic Richardson, number 20 in orange, has checked in. And he'll tote it and get nowhere. Stopped and stoned by Kenny Logan, who has been all over the place early. You see those helmets? They're throwback helmets to the 1961 season. Black helmets, they wore them for the first time that particular year.
This is what you call run fits right there. Logan comes from that deep safety position, understanding they've got to stop the run, so he's going to play a lot shallower than he would play in a conventional safety spot, Tim. All that means is they're concerned about stopping the run, and it's justified because we know Jaylen Warren is a difference maker.
That's a big stop for that defense.
Huge.
You know, you're down 7-0. Oklahoma State's got a full house on homecoming. This is going to be a 49-yarder now for Tanner Brown. He just snuck it in there. 49 yards. His career long was 50, so almost a career long matching. Three-pointer for Tanner Brown. (10-0). Oklahoma State converts off of the Jason Taylor interception for 3. But the good news is Kansas was able to get a stop after the turnover, not giving up another touchdown. Logan will bring this one from his 1. And he'll usher himself out at the 19.
Now, Coach Lipo's got to get his team settled in, Tim, and they knew that they were going to get a reduced amount of possessions, right? They knew that the game was going to be shortened because of the improved run game from Oklahoma State. But you can't let your momentum go down. You can't lose all of the great success you had against Oklahoma. Here's the interception again, Tim. The mobile quarterback, the ball is tipped. Does a wonderful job of being present. Eye discipline is great. Guys been in their position, tracking the ball.
Both teams have had 3 possessions each. For Kansas, 7 plays, 14 yards, no first downs. Oklahoma State, 19 plays, 120 yards, and 8 first downs.
Nice read.
Neal gets that one up to the 24-yard line. Their largest gain from scrimmage was on their opening play when they got 8. Devin Harper made the tackle there, the redshirt senior from Knoxville.
Neal needs to get a little bit smaller base to read those linebackers. They flow. There are opportunities to cut back, but you can't be running in that line of scrimmage erect like he was in that last play. You'll get stood up.
2nd down and 4. Kwame Lassiter has yet to be targeted. Number 8. He's up at the top of your screen. On the read again, Dean in a lot of trouble. This is where Oklahoma State really gets you. Taylor is outstanding at strong safety. Rodriguez, a converted safety, a hybrid linebacker, 5'11", 205 for 1, and then you see Rodriguez, who really gets it done, a loss of 3.
Yeah, Tanner McAllister, number 2, the safety, was the cherry on the top of the cake, if you will, on the outside, anchoring it, making sure that there was no way you were going to get to the edge. So they're shutting things down across the board of the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Filling and reacting, Taylor and company. Tanner McAllister, well, they are feeling with intentionality.
You do not hear any longer Oh, those Big 12 defenses. They don't really play. You're not hearing that in 2021. Blitz coming. Pass intercepted again. Off the pressure. This time, Harvell Peel. Colby Harvell Peel inside the 15. And it was number 2, Tanner McAllister, on the blitz, the free safety that forced the errant pass.
Well, the senior out of A&M Consolidated, Tim Peel, shows you how to read and react from a deep safety alignment. You had pressure, forcing the quarterback to step up in the pocket. Those eyes are locked down. He's staring him down the whole way. Eyes never left the quarterback. The quarterback has eyes on where he wants to go. We talked about middle field reads and keeping him restricted to predetermined calls, Tim. That's one of the reasons why you do not throw the ball late in the middle of the field. There's too much that can go wrong.
That is his 10th career interception, his 3rd this year. Leads the team in that category. Second team all Big 12 a year ago.
I'll tell you what, this defense is something else, man. They're coaching him up on the sidelines. He's a young quarterback. He's got great talent, but his decision-making is something yet to be desired.
Warren down to the 11. That was Zabrinski, Jim Zabrinski, the quarterback's coach that was down there. Jim Zabrowski, I beg your pardon, was down there talking with his quarterback, letting him know he's sort of getting the word from upstairs on what's happening that the youngster may not be seeing. Good run for Warren, and he's going to tote it again. Has the first down at the 8. Gavin Porter, 19, junior from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
Broken Arrow's got an unbelievable high school football program, and Tim, these big linemen up front now are taking advantage of these Jayhawks right now. Looks like they're playing at a different level. Cole Birmingham at the left tackle spot, all of them settling in now.
Cassidy, the tight end, is in the slot. Here goes Warren outside, cuts it back inside, down to the 5. That was really good recognition by Eddie Wilson, number 11, the senior from Jersey City, New Jersey. Played and prepped at the Milford Academy. Come over there and make the stop. That looked like it might go for 6.
Yeah, Eddie Wilson is down, Tim, the defensive tackle. He's down a little bit. You know, you got these backs that are running fast, man. Speed is a negator a lot of times. You can see a smaller running back run through a tackle, but if he's up to full speed, it's like you're being hit by a Mack truck. We look to see backs that can convert speed to power, and that's what happened on that play. Big Eddie Wilson's a nice defensive tackle on his 4-man front. They like to get him, but you know, when you start reaching that arm out there like this here, that leg comes down on that arm, Tim, and he's wounded a little bit. Darnay's does a great job of trying to funnel him back inside where he knows his help is coming from. But Big Wilson, it's kind of hard to see from that angle, but I think he got it on his forearm area somewhere.
Yep,
that's it. Exactly where it happened. It's a lot of weight, man, going down on that shoulder, not able to break your fall. Big fella's going to take a walk, and he'll shake it off. We used to call those stingers back in the day, Tim.
Yeah. Only stinger I ever got was in the backyard, and it was something flying around that hit me. I pulled a hammy or two over at first base. Jaylen Warren again is set behind the quarterback Sanders. 2nd and goal. Out pattern, there it is, off the pick, a rub, it's Presley, touchdown. Nice little rub, a dub-dub.
Thank you very much. Love the rub. Nice switch play and route. You're trying to defend it, man. It's so tough to do it. Ricky Thomas Jr., the safety. Here's the rub, the natural rub. You come in on the inside to get upfield, turn your shoulders, and the fact that you sell it, looking back to the quarterback, tells me that you are fully bought into what we're trying to accomplish, and that was Tay Martin, his partner, helping him out on the rub. Nice switch route.
10th touchdown pass for Sanders, number 5 for Presley. And the Cowboys have catapulted to a 17-point cushion. Kansas needs to keep the ball for more than 3 plays. That's the bullet.
Yep, the Black Stallion, Tim. He's going to get a little lathered up here if this keeps continuing.
And Brendan Presley gets the job done to culminate after the interception. Presley with the 4-yard reception. Jamal Horn, reserve wide receiver, 88, is back deep. Going to give Logan a little bit of a rest. Been playing a lot defensively of late. He'll let this one go through for a touchback. Well, tomorrow, a big doubleheader on Fox. First, the 49ers battle the Bears or other regional action. Then it's America's Game of the Week. Tom Brady leads the Buccaneers against Alvin Kamara and the Saints. All on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Check local listings for the games in your area.
Saints getting Mark Ingram back again on a one-year deal, right? Man, it's...
How about that?
Jiminy Christmas, man.
Well, that just tells you something about what Sean Payton is thinking about the long haul of the season. He's been with a lot of his personnel out. You got to have a little depth at the skilled positions, and they use Kamara so much.
Yeah, and Ingram's a complimentary addition. He's an inside runner at this stage of his 11 years.
Neal the setback, and again on the read, Bean will keep it. And here you see the speed. Turned up by McAllister, number 2, who's been all over the place in this game so far. Senior from Rockwell, Texas, making the stop, and it'll be a gain of 6, so 2nd and 4.
And Tim, that's one of the things I've noticed with Jim Knowles' defense, man. Everywhere he's been, they tend to populate the ball. Look at the form, the head on the outside shoulder, and that's what you call playing with leverage, because you know if the runner's going to go anywhere, it's back inside where all of your help is coming from. This team is so well coached.
We've come to the end of one. Remember this, though, about Kansas under Lance Leipold. They are going to do what they do, not worry about the score, which is a good idea when you're down 17 early. It's been all Cowboys here in Stillwater. Ready to start the second quarter. Oklahoma State with a couple of turnovers to help their cause, up 17-0, and we begin with a 2nd and 4 for Kansas. Devin Neal burrows ahead for a couple, still 3 yards shy of a first down, and they really need a first down here. They have none so far. They got to get their defense. They got to get their defense a little bit of rest.
Now the script is broken right now, Tim. We talked about establishing the run, but that's if the playing field is level. Coach Leipold has got to get the game going vertically and get back in it, or at least threaten to make those numbers that are making it tough to run a less of a factor. So they've got to get something through the air to loosen up this back end of this defense.
I mean, this is their 5th possession already. No first downs, 2 picks, 3rd and 3.
They're going 4 wide, so they're trying to do something here. So this is a good look.
Neal will tote it. Look out. He's not there. He's a yard shy.
Yeah, they're
That's Bean. Jason Bean, the quarterback, decides to keep it, and not there. Again, the great reaction from Oklahoma State. You may see an opening, Spencer, but the quickness of those linebackers.
I mean, Devin Harper was right there, man.
Yep.
You expect safeties and corners to react that fast, but between him and Malcolm Rodriguez, number 20, and 16, Devin Harper, the inside guys, I mean, there's a reason why those guys are on most people's All-American list and Lombardi list. They're impressive, Tim.
I mean, it's too early to put the game on the line on 4th and 1 with the ball there, so he's got to punt it. And another fair catch by Presley. 36-yard boot. Oklahoma State could make a statement tonight, and with what lies ahead, more than just some destiny and a lot of learning to take place on that sideline with his quarterbacks coach for Jason Bean. You noted during the timeout what Zabrowski was talking to his quarterback about.
Well, it's tough to transfer courage in an instant, Timmy. You either have it or not. He's telling them, hey, man, when you see that opening, you go get it. Go get those yards, because there's no other way to do it. The run game is being produced by you. We're not stout enough to defend. You got to go over there, man, and make it.
And you'll win over a lot of teammates if you do.
No question.
Here's one to Cassidy, the tight end. Braden Cassidy, number 90, gets it out to midfield. That's Berryhill, Taiwan Berryhill, number 6, with the stop, a 20-yard gain.
Excellent job of seeing the eyes. Watch Spencer looking downfield, and he's going to deliver on target. A back, he throws the ball where the receiver is going to be. And that's a quality throw, quality decision-making, running against the area where he wants to throw the ball eventually.
Cassidy was really pleased to beat Texas. He prepped at Westlake in Austin, Texas.
Another high-profile school.
Sanders now 8 out of 10 for 85 yards. Dominic Richardson the setback this time.
Oh, acceleration, love that.
Wow. Carrying guys with him, he gets 9.
That's what you call converting speed to power right there. If you ever wanted to see it personified, that's it. With leverage, getting low, and then bursting through, you got hands on you, and then you get 4 or 5 additional yards. Watch him crossover step downhill, and once that contact is there, he's still driving those legs.
Yeah, he carried Caleb Sampson, 98, the senior from St. Rose, Louisiana, for about 6 yards. He was bulldogging him there.
And Caleb is one of the most active guys they have on that front for the Jayhawks.
Richardson remains in the game. 2nd and 1. And there he goes for the first down. It's Gavin Porter, I beg your pardon. He picks up 4. Porter makes the stop. He had a big game against Oklahoma. 5 tackles, 3 solos. A sack to go with it as Gavin Porter makes the play.
Gavin went for a little ride there as Coach Gundy looks on, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He's so relaxed, man. His style is not to yell at kids. He's going to just talk to you and try to get his point across.
On first down, Sanders. Looking
Nice,
long,
nice.
he's got his man in the corner. Tay Martin, touchdown.
And it's like this staff, along with Casey Dunn, the offensive coordinator, it's like that lock and step, because Tay was the guy that helped him on the switch route earlier when you got a touchdown. Now this time it's his turn. The out and go, the double move, concentration, put it in exactly where it needs to. 2 years ago, Spencer doesn't make that throw. That shows you his maturation and his development over the last couple of years has been impressive.
Well, in 3 years, he's got 41 touchdowns. And here's Brown with the extra point to make it a 24-0 runaway. Let's just say homecoming's off to a quality start.
They're making a statement here, Timmy.
They really are. I mean, this is a team that played Oklahoma off their feet a week ago. Little brother is slam dunking them right now. Tay Martin is an explosive receiver. Mike Gundy told us, we want to get him a lot more involved. He has a quick burst about him, but it's not often that he can stay in for 3 or 4 plays at a time. He expends a lot of energy on one play. Well, that one play, he used all of his talent, and it's plentiful to catch that beautiful pass from Sanders in stride. Fair catch is called, and it's now time for Kansas to get their playmaker at wide receiver. That third prong involved, Spencer.
Well, you got to get him involved, Tim. Lassiter's the guy that's going to help them take the top off this defense. But again, if your run game is not working whatsoever, they're going to deploy more defenders on the backside. And when you start trying to force the issue, you're going to get picks. And that's what happens. He's going to be frustrated all afternoon, evening long because of it, Tim. And right now, I don't see there's any reasonable solution to solve the problem right now. Physically, they're being controlled at the line of scrimmage. The decision-making is quality, and the quarterback has not been confident enough to push it up there to attract attention.
Yeah, completely different Jason Bean in 1 week's time. Little out pattern to Trevor Wilson. Little bubble screen action. Tried to cut it back up, but little to no gain. Jarek Bernard Converse, young man out of my hometown, Shreveport, Louisiana. An outstanding cover corner from Evangel Christian Academy. That is not a stat you like to see right there. 2nd and 9. Not many of them for Kansas right now that they'd like to take a gander at. Believe me, 2nd and 9. And it looks
Andy Coconetti is the offensive coordinator, is taking control of the game right now and trying to dial up something late.
Neal trying to cut up on a stretch play. Gets it out to the 29-yard line for a decent gain, but it'll still be 3rd and long coming up.
There's something to be said for getting at the line of scrimmage as quickly as you can so that the coordinator can actually see, or if he's working from upstairs, get communicated down to the field what he thinks personnel-wise the defense is doing, and then he knows he's got a handful of plays that he thinks works best against this particular surface or front.
Yeah, one of the things Oklahoma State can do, and Jim Knowles has got a lot of depth now. He's already gone into it. His third-line guys coming in on that defensive front, they have tremendous depth defensively. 3rd and 6, so a lot of fresh legs out there. for Oklahoma State.
Still in a single high safety look. You're not going to be able to run against
He
this.
rolled right into Brock Martin. Not a wise choice. Incomplete. Brock Martin, number 9, is just too tough too often.
Well, again, you talked about all those wrestlers they have, Tim. Here's the one that's a 3-time state champion. Brock comes off the edge here. Off the backside, number 9, he gets up the field and able to get to that edge and then pressure like a safety, man.
Yep.
Incredible athleticism at that defensive end position.
And you add Devin Harper to the fray, 16. That's just rolling in the wrong direction. And Kansas still looking for a first down. Presley awaits the punt from Vernon.
All these waste
down immediately. Great coverage there for Kansas after a 44-yard boot. Quentin Skinner, number 83, was down there to make the tackle. But you don't want your best replays to be these replays, do you? Spencer, I believe this is our 3rd Oklahoma State homecoming that we've visited, and I'm going to tell you, I have never seen a better one.
Listen.
And we've visited a lot of campuses and a lot of conferences. They do it better here than anywhere else.
I tell you, Timmy, it's not, you know, there's a lot of places we can compare it to. The Grove was one. The scene on game day is a special one.
Look at Warren go. Jaylen Warren. Pushed out of bounds by Kenny Logan. I'm going to tell you, if Oklahoma State makes the run that we believe they can the rest of the way, you're going to start talking and hearing about Jaylen Warren in the same breath with some of America's greatest backs. And I'm including some that you've already seen on national television today in other conferences. Looping it to the far side, incomplete for Presley.
You're talking about Kenny Walker, one of the great ones today?
Yeah.
What a performance he had.
Gus and Joel had a lot of fun covering that one. And help me out. I do believe Michigan State would be called Little Brother in that league. Yeah, I believe so. Little Brother got the win.
No offense taken in that reference.
Yes. How about that stiff arm, huh?
That's a nice. Listen, a lot of times running backs get called for that, but they're not going to call. Just like the old targeting deal. Backs lower their helmets all the time.
There's it. Spoken by an old running back.
Put an asterisk by my comments.
Sanders, running out of time, decides to unload it.
Yeah.
And a rare 3rd and 10 coming up for Oklahoma State. They've been getting 7-8 yards on first down, playing ahead of the chains most of the way for Mike Gundy. What an incredible run he has had. And Spencer, we've seen him work his way through many a crisis in his 17 years.
Well, that was a comment I made in our time together. You know, he's going to be the dean of this conference, man, after clearly, I mean, he's the dean already.
Yes, he is.
You know, but in terms of profile, Oklahoma State's going to be the kingpins of this conference.
No doubt. Realignment coming up. Over the middle, it's incomplete. A really good hit by Potter.
Gavin came from that Mike linebacker position, and they'll move him around a little bit, Tim. But at 6'2", 222 pounds, that's a major hit right there.
Yeah, Blaine Green, the intended receiver, he felt this.
Yeah, he came from depth, and you know what? He's not defenseless or anything like that. It was a good, clean hit. The helmet was to the left side of the body. Green was reaching. One could make the argument, but there was a clean shoulder shot there. That's good football.
Textbook. Looks like they will punt it away. That's Tom Hutton, 29. Kwame Lassiter is back deep, standing at his 10. End over end, and a fair catch is called. And it's going to bound inside the 5 and get all the way in. 55 yards the boot. End over end, you're hoping that you'll wind up with a bit of a 9-iron or wedge shot. That didn't happen.
Hey.
It's homecoming. You got to wave right back. You got to keep waving. Oh, wake up the echoes. You think a little Gale Sayers would help at this stage?
The Kansas Comet.
Man, he was something special. What a privilege it was to meet Gale Sayers. And, of course, went on to the Chicago Bears, where he and Brian Piccolo of Wake Forest fame got together. Looking deep. That ball is incomplete. Arnold, the intended receiver, he actually became more of a defender on that play because he was really being well defended by Christian Holmes, and it was Holmes that had the better chance of making the catch.
Lawrence has got the height. You know, he's about 6'3", and as you said, he turned into a defender. If he's any less than that, Tim, I think he probably doesn't get this. May be intercepted, but those long levers is what allowed him to get there. Redshirt freshman out of DeSoto. Long rangey kid, man, 6'3", about 200 pounds even. He's got a nice frame to continue to grow. He's going to be something to contend with in the years to come.
He had 4 catches for 73 yards last week. Devin Neal got 100 out of him on the ground last week, but those holes are not as accessible tonight as they were a week ago in Lawrence. Tyler Lacey makes that stop.
And that was the combination last week that worked. The combined 100 yards from Neal on the ground, lacered 100 plus through the air. That is what took pressure off Bean and allowed him to be a third component of their offensive attack. Shrink the game, keep it competitive, and we could talk about all day long if Oklahoma came emotionally ready to play or not, but that's still Oklahoma, man. You can leverage that, but today, Oklahoma State has been dominant and taken the life out of this Jayhawk team early on. And you've got a lot of football to play, but they've got to answer the bell here.
Well, in a week when the committee is going to make some announcements, you want to show well on this particular Saturday. I don't care who you're playing. Bean unloads it again. 3 men were around him. Brock Martin was one of them. Devin Harper was another. I mean, it's just a lot of guys coming at him. In that situation, a coverage sack really was waiting before he unloaded it.
Well, press coverage is on the outside. That's Court Black. Again, number 4, the cornerback. One of 2 that can lock you down. Peel on the opposite side. And then you got pressure coming from all angles, Tim. It's Jaden Jerdigan is in there too, number 42 at that defensive tackle position. Pressure from the middle, pressure from the edges, pressure from the outside. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
Still looking for their first down of the game, and a fair catch by Presley. Last time Kansas didn't get a first down in its first 7 possessions, September 10th, 2016, against Ohio. That's Ohio, not Ohio State.
And you got to be careful if you're Coach Leipold not to allow what you accumulated last week to disappear on you.
Yeah, you want to build on it.
You got to build on it, but then how do you manage it if in fact it disappears in front of everybody's eyes? You got to be honest with these kids, and that's one thing about him. He is an honest coach, man. He creates a competition culture. That's what he wants to do. He's going to speak truth to these guys. You didn't get it done, guys. That's what he's going to say to them in the halftime. He's going to talk straight truth to them.
1st and 10. Sanders, who's been excellent tonight, throws it out to Tay Martin again.
They got to have tighter coverage. Deuce Mayberry and a lot too much cushion at that cornerback position. Again, he's in there. He's not a starter typically, Tim, but he's got to step up and be more effective. He's playing what we call a turn coverage, and he's got his back to him. He's trying to read the quarterback and the receiver at the same time. That's a tough duty for a young player.
Again, looking for Martin. Yeah, and that's a flag.
And there's another freshman mistake there. He doesn't get his head around. That's what youth does. At some point in time, you work this receiver to the point where you've got the sidelines your friend. You've got to give the illusion, at least, that you're turning around and trying to identify it. You got the right hand on it, but where's your head?
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah. By the way, I have to say this because we did watch the Michigan State-Michigan game earlier today, along with a lot of other people in our country. There were very few pass interference calls, and you might say at the end of the game, the Spartans got a little bit of a break, but they were consistent the entire game. They were allowing contact, and you had to throw the flag there, no doubt about it. He was all over him. So oftentimes in games themselves, you see inconsistency as Richardson forges ahead for 2. Jeremy Robinson, number 90, making the stop.
Well, I think the same rule that applies to players applies to officials. The greatest ability is dependability. Just be consistent with your call so we can all get the tempo right.
Low snap. Sanders handles it. Gets it out to Jaden Bray. Right at the line to make. Stopped by Dabney. And one of the freshmen that's in for the freshman that normally starts, Jacoby Bryant. That's a 9-yard gain. Move the sticks.
Got another Jayhawk down, Tim, and it's one of the big guys, Jeremy Robinson, number 90. You know, you can't afford. There's 2 guys you can't afford to lose on this front. Karan Johnson, number 15. We talked about him. Big factor at that left defensive end position, and then the opposite defensive end in that 4-man front, Robinson, number 90. 6'3", 265. One of the more athletic guys they have on this front. Here's a look at him here. He's working up top here, number 90 off the edge. And let's see if we can identify what happened. He's come down, plays with leverage.
He got cut.
Got cut on his knee.
Yeah, he got cut.
Yeah. And it's one thing to get cut by a small guy, but you get a tight end working in there, Tim.
That should have been a flag.
Well,
I mean, that really should have been a flag. You're not supposed to do that anymore. Not even if military academies are playing. To be perfectly honest, you normally would see a flag if you were engaged with someone else.
Indeed.
And the blocker went low. But I've seen that call made solo this season in other games. But unfortunate for Jeremy Robinson to be in this kind of pain as he heads back to the sidelines. And to your point, Spencer, he's one of those guys you just can't live without if you're Kansas right now.
Mm-hmm. If you're in the interior line, sometimes they just miss it, Tim. Totally
they
miss
do.
It.
Yep.
And if you're an edge player, you're being kicked out, blocked on a lot, so they can construe that as something other than what actually happened. But it was certainly a low block.
Sanders looking for Tay Martin again as he rolls, but he's not clear. He was well covered that time by Romello Dotson down in the end zone, and wisely Sanders just unloaded it.
Yeah, he's had to do that twice, possibly 3 times tonight. Again, it's just coverage, doing a wonderful job. Catch, this is better than what you were playing on the opposite side. And again, at least trying to see if he eventually identifies, and Dotson doesn't turn around, but that's okay. He's playing pure man coverage. These athletes on the back end know what they can do and what they can't do, but when you're young, boy, you're going to get exposed like they were earlier in this series.
2nd down and 10. Martin comes down to the bottom of his screen. The wide side of the field, and he's rolling in that direction again. And Martin's got it inside the 15. Stopped by Dotson again. They're continuing to work on number 13.
Yeah, Romello Dotson, Tim, he's working, trying to get some inside leverage. He's driving on this ball, trying to get there, but it's so well thrown. Again, the advancement, the accuracy, another dimension of Spencer's game that sets him apart when you compare his performances over the last couple of years. He's taken this team to the next level, in my opinion. And I love the fact that they're mixing in the run game to balance out what they're doing.
Well, look at those numbers for the 3 keys. You mentioned Presley. If not him, it's certainly going to be Tay Martin as that 3rd wheel. Speaking of Presley, going the other way, reverse,
How about Spencer?
touchdown!
How about Spencer delivering the key block on the score?
All the wheels are in motion now for the Cowboys.
Yeah, watch number 3, too. Hand clap, mesh point, gives it off, and he knows he's a lead blocker right now. He's escort, man. He said, hey, look, I'm going to put my head across this guy. I'm going to give you what I can. And he's been wearing out their number 3 all night long. Beat him early on the opposite field for a score.
Hard to believe, Spencer, that is Brennan Presley's first rushing touchdown. Sophomore from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Bigsby High School.
Great
One
program.
of the premier programs in your hometown. I'll say it for you again. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. How about the quarterback blocking? 31-0 our score now. This is just a beautiful reverse action. And this is how you win over your teammates right here.
Yeah, Mufasa, man. This is the coaches love to talk about this, and the players love to talk about it as well. They're going to give him grief, but they're going to celebrate him at the end of the day for giving up for his brother. Love that. Quarterback laying it on the line.
Things are a little more unsettled other places in college football tonight, I'm sure. And to tell us about that, what's coming up on the State Farm Halftime Show, Mike Hill?
Coming your way on the State Farm Halftime, Oklahoma continues to run the table in Big 12 play. Michigan State's Kenneth Walker III made quite a case for the Heisman. And Ohio State goes for its first win against a ranked opponent this season. That's all at the half. Right now, Tim and Spencer, back to you.
All right, Mike, thank you. We look forward to that. Kansas is just looking for a first down here. Sometimes you have to adjust your goals. And that's what they're doing here.
Trips to the field. Let's see if they go throw. Wow.
And he got hammered, didn't he?
Yeah, courage, man.
Devin Harper laying the leather.
I'll tell you something, you're going to run inside zone against this. This is the type of defense with Malcolm Rodriguez and Devin Harper in the inside. You do not want to put as athletic as Bean is, he's not going to outwork these two guys. I mean, this is the creme de la creme. Feel and react, and even when they're not working in a position of integrity, they're going to beat most blocks. I mean, I know these coaches are smart, really good group, got great respect for Coach Leipold, but that's not the way you beat this team.
Wilson run out of bounds
again,
at the 28. I think they're going to keep the clock running. That's Devin Harper making the stop. Look at this hit on the previous play.
Absolutely. Again, that's form tackle right there, brother. And he's letting you know I'm strong. He is strong. And what makes him strong is he plays with such integrity. He diagnoses plays. He converts his speed to quickness. That's what separates him. He's only about 225 pounds, which is about where you want to be. But for a middle linebacker, an inside linebacker, by traditional methods, that's about maybe 15 pounds lighter than what you would. But because he's able to convert that speed to power, Tim, he can play that position with integrity.
3rd down and 6. That's Kwame Lassiter in motion to the bottom of your screen.
Showing pressure and then bailing out.
Curl pattern. Is it enough? I don't think it is. Fairchild, the tight end. Did the ball come out late? No, it did not.
I think they're going to measure short.
Yeah, he's about a half yard shy of the 1st down.
Coach Leipold looks on. I think he tried to extend the arm out. Unlike
looks like he's short by about the length of the football.
Yeah, but wait a minute. It's a fumble because the player's not down.
Yeah,
Tim.
that's what I thought.
The player's not down.
Well, I believe Kansas is going to hurry to the line of scrimmage.
They better hurry.
Yeah.
Because the player was not down. He's laying on top.
I'm with you. They were a foot short. This is an interesting alignment. He lets it fly at the feet, and it's 4th down. So either way, Oklahoma State gets the ball on downs. Devin Neal, the intended receiver.
Yeah, Tanner McAllister was the safety back there, but they just don't have the foot speed to outrun this Cowboy defense. They just don't have it. And again, the more we listen to coaches and listen, you almost have to take what most say divided by 2, then you're halfway close to the truth. That's not to say that we don't believe a lot of times, but you know, this Kansas team has a ways to go yet. We know that they're young, particularly on defense, but there's no way they can match the speed of the Cowboys right now.
I don't know of a coach that arrived this late, you know, in a very difficult set of circumstances.
This guy right here is one of the best in the business.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, listen, what he did, what is he, 6 championships? I mean, it's incredible what he did at that level. But to me, what makes him special is he understands the game inside the game.
Well, he turned Buffalo around in a heartbeat within the mat. And we'll get it done in Kansas in time, but he's got to have time. There's Warren inside the 20 to the 18. Kenny Logan making the tackle.
And Warren got a little help from the official as well, but he really hugged that interior. Watch him come upfield and then get skinny and get vertical again. The official helped him out just a little bit. But he turns back up and gets up the field, man. It's nice instinctive running with a little help from his friend.
Richardson has come back into the game for Warren. Tay Martin down at the bottom of your screen on 1st down.
Good job feeling the pressure.
And look at him go.
Man, that's smart football right there, man.
He just takes himself out shy of the 10-yard line.
It's like he had eyes in the back of his head, Tim. That's about timing. Here's a rule. When a defender passes you, he's coming back. And you better have an internal clock in your head to know how long it's going to take him to come back and recover. And Sanders just did a textbook example of how to execute.
2nd and 1.
Nice stop.
He just airmailed that one. I think there was a mix-up
Yep.
between he and the receiver, Jaden Bray. He was going fade, and Bray cut off his route. And it falls harmlessly incomplete. 3rd and
Bray's going to probably
up.
get into talking to on that one because he really covered himself. Didn't give him a chance even at the fade route. He just stopped.
And that was clearly what Sanders was throwing against man coverage. Richardson has the 1st down at the 5.
boy, the front is dented, and what do I mean by that is the defenders get penetration, and then he stems it back inside and gets the positive yardage, man. It's about as well as you can run the football against a front that's managed to penetrate your offensive line.
On 1st and goal. Richardson, touchdown. That's Dominic Richardson's first touchdown.
And Robinson's in the hole there, and I think that was 90 in there, Tim. But just watch the move inside here. Watch him make this guy miss right here. Just went right past him. And then the power and the speed to run through the arm tackles. Well, this team is pretty good, Tim.
They really are. You know, this young man, Richardson, was coming into the game with 24 carries, 68 yards, no touchdowns. He's got one now. At his coming out party against Baylor a year ago. Ranked as the 2nd most in terms of yards rushing for an Oklahoma State freshman, trailing only Thurman Thomas. Pretty good back as well.
Strong.
Speaking of running backs, mentioned Thurman Thomas. How about this guy right here?
Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders. I'm so old, Spencer. I was here in 1986 when his team went up against Woody Woodenhofer's Missouri Tigers. And Thurman was the leader of that team. And I want to say that Mike may have been a junior quarterback that year, possibly a senior.
Tim, I bet you remember Terry Miller, don't you?
I sure do. And I remember Hartley Dykes. It was part of that team. And Barry Sanders may be the first ever Heisman winner that won it because of cable television.
Yeah.
CNN and another network with 4 letters were able to follow him and track him because none of their games were televised.
Yep.
Oklahoma State was on TV one time on cable, and it was against Oklahoma.
And there's another nondescript moment most people won't remember. Barry Switzer came in a meeting down the hall and told Gary Gibbs, the defensive coordinator, he said, listen, there's a lot of great players on that team, and Thurman Thomas is one of them, but you don't want the ball in the hands of number 21. That was, he was talking about.
Keep 34 in the
game.
Said,
keep 34 in the game because our defense, Tony Casillas, Brian Bosworth, those guys are wrecking ball. They were talking about knocking players out the game. He said, but you don't want this guy in the line.
I'll never forget that. Well, that's Walter Scheid with a stop. That was a heck of a hit by 96, the redshirt sophomore.
But you're right about it. That was a time when Barry didn't get much from Oklahoma State didn't get much television coverage in the
back in those days. That was the first. It was at that point in time, technologically, that sports television could use satellite trucks. You would get a one-camera truck and follow every game Barry Sanders had because he was putting up these monster numbers, and literally robbed Rodney Peete and your old teammate Troy Aikman, then at UCLA, the 2 favorites for the Heisman Trophy.
Yep.
2nd and 9.
Nice sift.
And here's Dean. Arvell Peel pushes him out. I believe he's going to be shy of the first down by about a yard.
Yeah, Mason Fairchild, the tight end, number 89, did a wonderful job. Watch him come across in motion and then faux blocks that guy, right? It's called a sift, where you sift through. Don't block the guy. Treat it almost like option. Go past him, then he blocks himself. And then you got extra numbers upfield, and that's how you get positive yards. That's a well-executed play.
They have been in 3rd and 1 situations. This will be the 3rd time, and have failed to pick it up. And, of course, went on 4th down once and wound up rolling out and trying to throw it for 1st down. Didn't get it. 0 for 7 on 3rd downs. Bean again can't get there.
So they tried to go with the sift, but instead of handing it off or meshing it, they're going to let the quarterback run it. Bad idea.
Totally overpowered, too.
Well, again, it comes back to the athleticism they have at that 2nd level with Rodriguez and Harper. Those guys are so athletic, Tim. You cannot block them in space. They will absolutely run around you. Watch 16 and 20. Watch them flow, work straight through an edge blocker. A wide receiver can't stop him. You can't ask a wide receiver to come in and block him out there. And Lassiter, it doesn't even feel him. You're like a gnat on me. He just flicks him off of him and lets him. with the limp arm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot to ask for those young wide receivers.
You
used to call them
far.
pencil necks for a reason, man. Those guys don't weigh a whole lot.
Another Spencerism here. Well, they're going to go with the punt unit, which means no first downs in the entire half for Kansas. 0. Brennan Presley will await the punt. Brennan has had a very active night. And he was pressured that time. It affected the punt. He does get a quality roll. It'll go dead at the 26-yard line. 42-yard boot. Well, coming up in our nightcap, Pac-12 After Dark, Dylan Morris will lead Washington against Stanford. The action kicks off on FS1 and on the Fox Sports app. I believe our friends Petros Papadakis will be at work. Yes. Look forward to that matchup tonight. Shane Ingleworth has come into the game at quarterback. So I think we can close the books on Spencer Sanders before halftime.
Yeah, I think it's a wise call, too.
I do, too, with what lies ahead for Oklahoma State. They go to West Virginia next week, who just took care of the team that beat them last week, Iowa State, earlier today. Dominic Richardson for a first down.
Now, Shane's a different quarterback, Tim, but the run game is still the run game, and they're going to run it effectively. But Shane's about 6'6", 230 pounds. But he can hand it off, too, and let these guys do the heavy lifting. Richardson running effectively inside. This is what this guy does well.
Quick out pattern to John Paul Richardson, number 17.
Oh, he's so accurate, man, and he's got the levers, Tim, with the long arms. And when the ball comes out of it, he's slinging it, man. It's got so much velocity on it. Love this kid's game. More of a classic quarterback.
Yeah, Ingleworth, 315 yards, 22 of 40 coming in. All of that against Mizzou. That pass incomplete. His best game was against Kansas a year ago, 3 touchdowns. He entered the Tulsa game last year also because of injury. Became the first true freshman to quarterback Oklahoma State in the season opener since Wes Lunt in 2012. A 4-star recruit. So as you mentioned, Spencer, a big-time classic pro-style quarterback. And there you see the numbers on Sanders, and that really doesn't tell the entire story.
No, he's a quality improvement, man.
3rd and 6. Ingleworth in trouble and sacked. Well, they may have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage. Let's see. So it won't go as a sack. Ronald McGee, 95, making the stop, and 4th down is coming up.
And that's the one thing that Illingworth needs to improve at. You know, when you come off the bench, Tim, in a situation like this, being able to move and feel pressure, understanding the timing and the ebb and flow of the game, that's something that has to happen really quickly because he's not the most mobile quarterback, but he's got a beautiful arm, and that's the thing he needs to.
It was a loss of 3, so Kansas will be credited with a sack. But it has been all Cowboys. They have sent a message. Who's the best in the Big 12? Well, right now the Cowboys feel pretty good about themselves. State Farm halftime show coming right at you. Let's get to Mike Hill in Los Angeles. How do you do, Mike?
How do you do? Welcome to the State Farm halftime show inside our LA studios. Indeed, I'm Mike Hill. That is the coach, Chris Peterson, and my man, Emmanuel Acho. Now, that is the way you bounce back after your first loss of the season. Absolutely. Cowboys getting it done. Outstanding defense and plenty of Spencer Sanders as we take a look at the halftime highlights sponsored by State Farm. The quarterback looking good, Coach.
Real good. 13 for 20, 2 touchdowns, and running for a touchdown as well. This is what I think needs to happen for Oklahoma State to make a real run. Spencer Sanders has to keep up in his game, running and passing, because they can run the ball. But if he brings his game to life, they got a chance to do some good things.
Well, just play Kansas. Bounce back, that's one thing. 331 total yards to 49 for Kansas in the first half. 38-0. Second half still to come. Meanwhile, 4th-ranked Oklahoma came into the week with an 8-0 record, their best start since 2004. Could they keep it rolling with Caleb Williams under center against Texas Tech?
Saturday night, dancing to the rhythm and
Just like the Bay City Rollers, Oklahoma State is rolling through Kansas on homecoming night. Tim Brando alongside Spencer Tillman. Okay, well, let's take care of the bad news for Kansas first. No first downs. Haven't crossed their own 34-yard line yet. Now to the good news. Oklahoma State is doing what it's supposed to do. Put the foot on the jugular and don't let go.
Well, to continue the theme, it's been a 38 special tonight, the first half to be sure. And it's been exciting. Quarterback play has led it. That's the story here to me. And you look at a 167 rating, getting it to all of your receivers in mission-critical positions, and ultimately for Kansas not being able to do the same thing. A negative 1.3 quarterback rating due in large part to the interceptions. But again, and the defense on top of that, I'm telling you, Rodriguez and company on the opposite side, Tim, really shut this thing down. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator for OSU, had this thing dialed in. The fans were right there supporting them along the way. They should be happy because, to me, Timmy, they're the best team in the conference right now from stem to stern.
And I realize there are a lot of people saying, "Oh, wait a minute, Kansas had some lightning in a bottle a week ago, and they had nothing left, and they're not the best. I mean, they're the worst team in the league," and all that. Oklahoma State is doing exactly what you're supposed to do to a team that you're this much better than. And Mike Gundy, to his credit, when he talked to us about his team, and think about it, any great coach sometimes will go against his own philosophy because he knows the strengths of the team he currently has. And that's exactly what he's done with the 2021 program here at Oklahoma State. Look at that in terms of first downs and 21-0 shutout. Shane Illingworth will start at quarterback here in the second half. He came in on the last series at the close of the first.
Hope we get a chance to talk more about Mike settling in at this position as head coach after all these years, because he is really the key.
No doubt about it. One of the most influential in the business. Very quietly, that will be less so as they will get greater attention once Oklahoma and Texas are out of the Big 12. That's Miller making the stop as Richardson could not get back to the original line of scrimmage. So a loss on first down. It's 2nd and 12.
Showing pressure here, bailing out, just rushing 4. Let's see if the underneath route. Number 7, you got him wide open.
Shallow cross to John Paul Richardson. Stopped at the 29-yard line by Miller again. That's the Buffalo transfer. There are 6 of them that came over from Buffalo, but even as we said, Lance Leipold admitted this is a young man that on the Buffalo team, which had won and attained great credibility, probably was no better than the 4th or 5th
wasn't a starter.
linebacker. No, did not start for him. That out pattern is caught by Richardson. And that should be enough for the first down.
Tim, but I think that move, though, becomes one of culture, right? And you need players, if you're Coach Leipold, to help transition you into the type of environment you need. The coaches can only do so much, particularly when they don't get their hands on him until April 30th when he came in. And that was the first time they had a chance to even address the players.
Didn't see them until fall practice began. Nice little maneuver there, fake by Illingworth, and then he tucked it and got 8 yards out of it. Not known necessarily to scamper it, but he did there. Gavin Potter with the stop.
And that really speaks to the spirit of the front for Kansas right now. Where are they emotionally? They should be able to keep this long, not athletic, fleet of foot quarterback in that pocket and contain. But when he can stab you for about 9 yards, that shows you're not moving as fast as you need to be able to deal with him.
Well, you'll find out a great deal, as will Lance Leipold and his staff, about the makeup mentally of his team, the way they play this second half. They were embarrassed in the first 30 minutes. Richardson, a gaping hole, and once he got to the second level, it was Kenny Logan or touchdown, and Logan tripped him up.
Great job of instinctively running. Look at the hole here, Timmy. You're looking at a 4-man front, but when you vacate or leave your space and you leave that void there, any decent running back is going to find a way to make positive yardage and get upfield, and that's exactly what he did on this play. Security at the end of the run, seals it at the end. Nice job.
Logan is staying in the game, but I think he hurt himself a little bit on that tackle. Richardson remains the setback. 10 carries, 85 yards for him. And out of the shotgun, here he goes. Here he goes, and Logan coming up again to make that stop, and he's waving himself to come off the field. He's hurt. He is gingerly, number one, making his way to the sideline. He was hurt before that play began. He still made the tackle.
And they're guessing wrong here. Gavin Potter, you can see him make the move here. He just kind of maybe falls on that shoulder.
I think he fell on the shoulder.
Falls on that shoulder there.
So first down, Illingworth has his team on the doorstep of the red zone at the 27. That pass was thrown behind and almost picked off by Dabney.
And see, that's a mistake right there. When you throw late and you have the boundary as your friend, that ball needs to be on the outside shoulder of the receiver. There's no need for it to be inside. You got secondary help from safety and corners over there, man. That's too many white shirts. Put that ball on the right or outside shoulder of your receiver. If it goes anywhere, it's going out of bounds.
Bryson Green did a nice job of breaking up what might have been an interception.
See what they do with this twins formation. I think there's a nice little switch route here, potential for them.
2nd and 10.
Right.
Richardson again. All the way down to the 12. Ricky Thomas, number 3, the stop, 15 yards. They are gashing Kansas right now.
They really are, Tim. Running to the weak side of the formation, and again, not trying to do anything creative necessarily, but just running away from where the numbers are. Here's a nice ISO block, sealing off that backside to create that cut lane. Wonderful job up front. Josh Seals and company, Hunter Woodward, right guard, all working in tandem with one another.
In the corner.
Nice touch play.
That's Green. That's touchdown. Bryson Green.
Gamrod Dabney trying to defend him on that back end. High pointed the ball does Green. Watch him off coverage, playing a catch technique. Looks around a little bit too late. He goes up and high points that one. That's just beautiful athleticism, Tim.
Hey, did you see how he set himself up to jump?
Yeah.
He put his hand up around the helmet of the defender just to set himself, and outdueled him for the reception. That's the 2nd touchdown for Bryson Green this season. Right there. See how he just sort of launched himself?
Well, that'll leave him green with envy, won't it?
Poor Cameron Dabney, the freshman inserted into the starting lineup, out on an island. Saying you're having a bad day, well, just come to homecoming in Stillwater. Right on that camel called Clyde. Oh, gosh.
Remember the Cannibals Unfiltered? This is an unfiltered football game in this half.
I'm thinking about Ray Stevens, the late Ray Stevens, and that song that he did that had the lyrics right on that camel called Clyde. Fair catch is called. Well, let's see if Kansas can muster a first down here to start the second half, trailing 45-0. Night before Halloween. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a lovely pre-Halloween party.
Nice head.
I'd love to know what those guys major in.
Well, when you're up, Tim, like you are, you major in good times, man.
Yes, indeed. Miles Kendrick is going to get some playing time. 5'10", 203 redshirt senior, Valley Christian High. And here goes Torrey Laughlin. Walker down as he goes down, and boy, was he hit.
And Rucker came from depth, man, all the way from that safety position and made an unbelievable play in open field.
Transfer from Wake Forest, Trey Rucker, out of Fairfax, Virginia. Boy, that was a smash.
You know, coaches talk about running through.
Number 7, 10-yard penalty. It's first down.
Trevor Wilson, the wide receiver, gets called for a offensive holding.
Yeah, Cameron Farrar, number 44, was the guy he was holding, Tim. He just turned him around. You know, he spun him around. It's clearly to see it. Clear to see it.
Now, the message, I think, is pretty clear now to Jason Bean that it wasn't his night.
Yep. You know, it kind of leaves you in a no man's land, though, when you have those kind of performances where you knock it out of the ballpark and then you can lay an egg. It kind of leaves an identity crisis.
Yeah. Now, listen, They are coaching for the future. They have to look at this big picture. Lance talked to us about that. And again, I don't believe there is a coach any more equipped than Lance Leipold to take over this situation at Kansas, which has been a turbulent set of circumstances since the day Charlie Weiss was hired and the payoff of Charlie began and the swinging door that's been going on since. This is the guy, no question in my mind, Spencer, that's best equipped to bring Kansas out of the doldrums and back to where they were when they went to an Orange Bowl in 2007 with Mark Mangino.
Yeah, you can make that statement because of the structure that he's created. He has a general manager. There's only about 7 football teams at this level that have GMs, and you can unpack that a little bit later as we go on.
Kendrick getting away from pressure. Gets past the original line of scrimmage and out for 3 more yards. Farrar, as you mentioned, all over the place. The redshirt soph from Skyline High in Dallas, Texas, with a stop.
Skyline, that's a great school. Produced guys like Michael Carter, silver medalist in the shot put, played for the 49ers.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't they the opposing team in the movie Friday Night Lights?
I think they were.
I believe they were.
I think they absolutely were.
In the motion picture, not the television series. That was the longest play from scrimmage for KU, 10 yards. 3rd down and 7. Still looking for first down number 1 tonight.
Four-man rush, Timmy.
Kendrick steps up, could have a first down right here. He does. Steps out of bounds near the 40. They're going to mark him out at the 39.
One of those rare miss. You don't see that happen a lot with this stop unit here, Timmy, but it happened on this series of plays. And you can look at it and you can expect when Peyton Kramer and the company, those guys, Trey Rucker, 39, when they're trying to make a play in open field like this and they miss, they're coming at bad angles. And that's usually the reason why you don't make an open field play like that.
Torrey Loughlin comes in. Miles Kendrick out of Morgan Hill, California. And out ahead again for a healthy gain of 8 yards.
That was an interesting play. They affected the eye discipline of Oklahoma State, and they've got to read their cues and stay with them. But that's one of the advantages of having a scheme that can neutralize speed. Misdirection can often do that.
Came off the bench a year ago. Threw for 90 yards in 11 of 19 performance against Oklahoma State. Transferred in from the College of San Mateo Junior College after his freshman year. That is Neal, and that is another first down into Oklahoma State territory as Jernigan, 42 Jaden Jernigan, the redshirt soph from Allen, Texas, made the tackle.
Granted, you got some second-line players in there for Jim Knowles' defense on the Cowboys side of things, but again, this is something that you can coach with. If you get positive yardage, possess the ball, which is something you haven't been able to do, you can work with that. It's a growth step. And that young man right there has got to figure out a way to merge or reconcile what he did against Oklahoma and what he couldn't do against Oklahoma State and improve on it.
Bootleg action here. Kendrick's pass to the tight end, Trevor Cardell, and he is stopped at the 45, but that was well-conceived bootleg action with Farrar, as we said, flying all over the place in that Oklahoma State perimeter.
Now, this is a nice job by Trevor, going back. He's a redshirt freshman, Tim. The ball's on his back shoulder, and I know why it's thrown there because it was a zone scheme. There's a defender on either side of him, but you still are in a better position if that ball's in front of him. Let him make his own, at least let him see the guy that's about ready to hit him.
2nd and 5. Tristel Golightly, number 80, has come into the game at one wide receiver spot up at the top of your screen, and that is Lassiter in motion. Zone read, and what a great defensive play by Rucker. He stayed home.
See, he played that just the opposite of the open field tackle that he didn't make 2 prior plays. Watch him squat and get that head across as best he could, and it still could have been perfected a little bit, but at least he played with a lot more integrity, and as a result, made that open field tackle. Impressive.
3rd down and 6. You got to think that this is 4-down territory. Score being where it is with this much time left. The best field position Kansas has had all night. First time they've gotten into Cowboys territory.
They got their pre-snap read. There's going to be pressure. That's what they were expecting, but the pre-snap read helped them see it.
He's got man coverage. Pass is incomplete and a flag down. Trevor Wilson, the intended receiver, Tanner McAllister, will be called for the PI.
And again, what made that play happen is the pre-snap read you're able to get before the ball is snapped. Understanding that it was going to be man coverage, you decide to take the shot.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That is the first penalty for Jim Knowles' defense all night. That's amazing.
Yeah, and that could have been avoided too. McAllister's probably wishing he had that over again. He knew he was in man coverage, and they had a blitz on.
I mean, that for the entire team not to have a penalty this deep into the game, I don't care who you are, you generally don't see that this deep into a game. 1st and 10 from the 30. You just can't go side to side against these guys.
They fly around too fast.
Oklahoma State is too quick sideline to sideline.
Farrar's in there, McAllister in there, 44-2, all of them. And Jim Knowles here with the cap on. You can see him there kind of rubbing his little whiskers, man. He's one of the brightest minds in defense there is right now. He's such a sharp guy.
He actually uses, before the season starts, to get his guys' attention, he uses game shows. $25,000 pyramid, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Jeopardy, Family Feud. Uses that to test his team. Very interesting concepts that he brings with the modern day internet athlete. That's Devin Neal down to about the 26-yard line. Stopped by Farrar.
And Tim, $25,000 pyramid, Dick Clark special was his favorite. And he understands on a deeper dive of this is exactly how these kids learn best. He gives them short doses of information, let them question one another, and he pulls it out of them, and it builds camaraderie. And he rewards them quickly as well. He's got the profile of these youngsters down to a T, and it's working for him.
3rd down and 5. Fairchild, the tight end, is in the slot left.
Nice late blitz.
Kendrick on the RPO goes Neal, and he's chopped down in space very quickly. Their tackling is just outstanding at every level, no matter how deep you go into their depth chart. That's Tyron Irby, 91, that made that tackle.
Well, that was one of the points that Jim asked, and I always ask coaches, write the script for us, how you think the game plays out that leads to a victory. And one of the things he's talked about tackling, being effective in open field. Why must you be effective? Because we run a lot of man coverage. We leave people on an island. So everybody has to tackle with integrity.
45-yard field goal try. Jacob Borsilla will try. They just want to find some points, not get shut out.
Hey there. Nice.
And got it through. So the shutout has come to an end. Something to build on, and you can see how optimistic that staff remains, no matter the score. Well, the Jayhawks got a few points on the board now. Searching for some love. 45-3 is our score. 12 plays, 48 yards, 7:25 off the clock. So give some credit to the backup quarterback, Miles Kendrick, getting a couple of first downs with his feet, leading his team down, and getting some points courtesy Jacob Borsilla.
Tim, I'm a big proponent. It doesn't matter what the score is. At some point in time, you know what the situation is. You can still feel positive about a performance that even you got blown out on, if you long as you go out and execute and do your best.
Jaden Nixon brings it back. Stop shy of the 20. And by the way, when we're looking for love, sometimes when you're up on homecoming, you say, here's my ring, what do you think?
Yes.
Boy, that's going to be some tractor ride tonight. 45-3, the crowd on homecoming for the most part hanging in. A few of the students have left early, getting their homecoming night party underway a little sooner than anticipated, perhaps. Zach Middleton is in the game at running back. Into the game for the first time. He's ahead to the 20 on first down.
Zach runs right into a white jersey. That was Rick Miller. Rich is one of the guys that came over with Coach Leipold and knows the system, knows the formula for how they intend to win. As you pointed out earlier, not necessarily a starter, but again, aware of how things are to be done in this new system that they have, and help that transition along.
2nd down and 7. And the redshirt freshman from Bishop Kelly in Tulsa is out to about the 23-yard line on the 2nd down carry. By the way, I got a correction on the Friday Night Lights movie. It was actually Dallas Carter.
Yeah, Dallas Carter.
Not Skyline.
But we were correct on Michael Carter.
He played there.
Yep, went to Skyline and won a silver medal in the Olympics. And great nose tackle for the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, one of the most powerfully built guys I've ever seen, man. I'll tell you a story about what he did to Ricky Waters one time.
Can't wait. 3rd down and 5. We'll no doubt have time for it.
Yes.
Throwing deep in man coverage, and it is caught by Blaine Green. Brother Bryson's already got a touchdown. Green, to me, Blaine, you know, he has that look of a converted running back. You know, you know that yards after the catch will always be there for him.
Well, he's long and lanky and rangy, Tim, and he's got a nice ability to double move you, and he's got great concentration, the ability to pull that in. That's special right there. A guy that pivots and turns all the way around, doesn't lose his awareness relative to the sidelines.
Jaden Nixon has checked in now for Middleton at running back, and he'll tote it. And he rumbles down to about the 32-yard line. 5-yard pickup, 2nd and 5 coming up.
This is a chance for everybody to grow and get better. Again, you got your more pure stand in the pocket passer in the game right now. You know what to expect from him, and you compliment him with the play selection as well. Everybody gets good work in.
This could not have happened at a better time for Oklahoma State with what's ahead of them on their schedule. There's Nixon inside the 30 to the 29. Will be a couple of yards shy of the 1st down. Here's the thing to remember, all right? They beat Texas, we know that. And they've got Oklahoma left to play. Kansas now going down. This means 2 West Virginia next, then TCU on the 13th, at Texas Tech, then Bedlam. And who knows? It could be Bedlam again. It could be Bedlam 2.0.
Yep.
The potential for a repeat matchup is there.
And I like the ability
There it is.
preserving your frontline players as you get to the closer end of the season. Because I don't care, Tim, even if you're in the spread era, teams that can run the ball and play great defense are still going to win championships.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what Mike has understood, and he's shifted his mindset to it. And at this stage of his career, he's settled, man. He wants to win, and he's willing to bend. He's not trying to make a name for himself. He's already done that.
Ingleworth.
Nice.
Just gets rid of this one. That one
he
was
had it.
well defended by Kansas, and he dumped it, got rid of it after a little pressure came his way. It'll be 2nd and 10. And to your point, Spencer, with Oklahoma and Texas, and we're not sure, you know, they got to pay $80 million to get out of the league, but rumors are that they may be able to get out of the league by as early as next year. If that be the case, in the reconfigured Big 12 with
highly competitive.
with BYU coming in, and then a year later, probably 2 years from now, Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston. I mean, we're talking about Oklahoma State and Gundy having really the biggest of the programs.
No question. He's
within the conference.
Expands the footprint of the institution. There's so much good to that.
Nixon takes it ahead. I love the confidence of Ingleworth and how he's handled himself since coming into the game. You can tell that he has been there and done that. Even though it's mop-up time, his level of intensity and leadership has been solid, buttoned up, so to speak.
Illingworth is an outstanding talent. There's no question about it.
Headed to the 4th, 45-3. (45-3) as we open the 4th quarter. Jaden Nixon remains in the game at setback. Shane Illingworth Been doing an outstanding job since checking in. And there goes Nixon. Did he make the pylon? Not quite. He was reaching for it at about the 2. Deuce Mayberry's 22 is the guy that knocked him out of bounds.
Well, he was hightailing to that corner,
he
man.
was.
Jordan Brown and company was over there trying to push him out of bounds, and he just ripped through there. He's playing at another level of speed. Great vision. Watch him finish that. Try to get to that corner, sticks that ball out there, and trying to make something happen. Can't fault him for that.
Oh,
nice,
that's beautiful.
Nice. Wonderful.
How sweet a move was that? Touchdown, John Paul Richardson. And just Illingworth with a perfect play fake. And he threw him a dart to go with it.
And I love the fact that he pulled up so quickly because he understands his skill set. He's not trying to stretch anything out.
No.
Just play to your strengths. He wide meshes, little faux mesh there. Look at all the numbers bunched up around. And then he made the defender commit, and he just does what he does best. Put that ball on a rope and a line and finish with a score.
And, you know, you don't think about him in terms of using his feet necessarily, but he used his feet perfectly there to set up that throw. To make it a 51, make it now 52-3 game. Shane Illingworth out of Norco, California. He had only played against Mizzou, getting a little more playing time now, and will in the future. That was a dart.
Nice.
John Paul Richardson on the receiving end. And they're off. Where's turn 4, Spencer? I'm looking for it. I never got to call NASCAR. That's horse racing and auto racing. That's it. Looks like it might be a photo. No, she's pulling away. She's pulling away. I love it when the young lady wins, you know?
That's right.
Faster.
We needed to interview him, though.
Yeah.
I love it when the number 4 Fox car just runs well today.
Is Chris Economaki down there? He began doing push-ups. It became a little something else, I believe.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Do it to fatigue.
At least he's not gatoring.
And the horse is at the watering hole.
The last drive was certainly the best of the night for Kansas. Their defense, unfortunately, has not been able to answer the bell against an Oklahoma State offense that has just gashed them with the ground game, and Shane Illingworth has been on target like a starter would normally be.
And they really hadn't changed his play selection. He's executed. He's altered it to his skill set.
Not much in the running game available to them. That's Pesic Hickson just into the game as they're going deep into their depth chart. Guys that would very rarely, if ever, see playing action. Washington and Stanford coming up next.
The horse is going to need padded balls. He has to run out here anymore, man.
Second down and 7. Miles Kendrick started the second half, remains in there. And goes underneath with Trevor Cardell, 45, the redshirt freshman from Lee's Summit, Missouri.
Nice little underneath pass there like that. Getting rid of the ball. The timing is excellent on it. Executing their offense.
Travis Goff is the new athletic director at Kansas. And he was charged with the job of taking over for Jeff Long after the Les Miles circumstances became a factor nationally in the wake of investigations going on at LSU. F. King Alexander was actually the president at Washington, and he was relieved of his duties in the aftermath of that story. And now it's up to Lance Leipold and the direction of this football program for the long-term future. They're thinking long-term. Well, Pesic Hickson is stopped. Pesic Hickson loses about a yard, maybe 2 on that play.
And Tim, part of that long-term strategy includes the appointment of Rob Ianello as general manager. And because of the nature of this hire and this challenge at Kansas, academic-centric program with its own idiosyncrasies academically, and that's the complement in the strictest sense of the definition, but it is a different place.
Yeah.
And so being able to navigate that and be that buffer between academia and athletics, which has always been uncomfortable to varying degrees at institutions, you need a general manager to do that.
Iannello, a lot like Leipold, got his break from Barry Alvarez at Wisconsin.
There's a tree there, no question about it.
And was a former head coach himself. And now you have a general manager, you have a personnel guy. Player personnel man is Grant Murray at Kansas, and clearly trying to track and find the players that are available to you. That was likely that was the intended receiver. That's the task at hand. And in truth, Les Miles was trying to rebuild and refund the Kansas football program in many ways with high school talent, and the cupboard was pretty bare, and it was very young. Not many junior college players, so they've gone to the portal as best they can to try to win games as quickly as they possibly can, but that's a tough take in a league as good and as deep as the Big 12. All right, into the arms of the defender. Intercepted. All the way down to the 10-yard line. That's Nick Session. Reserve safety comes in to make a big play, but that one was gift wrapped.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's one of the most difficult throws across the field into the flat with off coverage where a safety can see. Session squats on this ball and jumps the underneath route. I mean, he was like stealing, man. The coverage was beautiful. You can clearly see that the quarterback's not reading all aspects of it because he changed his Session in the middle of the throw to break the construct of the defensive coverage and to turn it into a house call. Unbelievable effort there. Good Lord.
3 interceptions tonight for Oklahoma State that have led to touchdowns. Zach Middleton in the backfield behind Ingleworth. Cuts it back and is down at the 10-yard line. Tywan Berryhill with the stop after a 3-yard gain. Now that one, you said he squatted on it, and he did, but he had plenty of time.
Yeah, and that's the.
He had plenty of time to jump on that one.
That's a big league throw to try to make across field that way, man. And again, you're off coverage. It's not like you're playing man. Your back is not turned, so it's going to take you a while to recognize that if you're playing man coverage. But if you're playing catch or soft coverage, your eyes can sneak a peek at the quarterback. You can see everything develop in front of you. You can actually keep an eye through peripheral vision on your receiver as well. And that's just inexperience right there. Tough throw, bad decision, probably a bad play call.
Ingleworth into the corner, incomplete.
Just couldn't hang on and complete the catch.
Good coverage there, help. Bryson Green was the intended receiver. Kansas with some outstanding defensive play there by Dabney, 16. Edwin White Schultz, 18. Also in the neighborhood, but that was Dabney that did a nice job defensively there, going through the receiver.
Green was coming down where they just couldn't complete the catch. He actually had it in his mitts.
And a reserve kicker has come in, Alex Hale. 26 yards. 55-3. Well, tomorrow as I make my way home, I will not drive 55. I got news.
After successfully defending their dominion against the Usos, how will King Woods and Kofi Kingston's victory reverberate throughout the kingdom of SmackDown? The new era continues. It's an all-new edition of Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox. Are you ready for a good time?
I'm ready for a good time always.
Champions are crowned.
We could get Sean Wiggins up here, our liaison, to do a little nature boy, and maybe you could throw in.
I'm all for it, brother.
Yeah, you could do that. Here's Trevor Wilson bringing the kick back just shy of the 25-yard line. Well, the hardest working players, sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance, only pay for what you need. And he didn't have to play more than a half, but he was hard-working guy, that Spencer Sanders.
I love Spencer Sanders. Made quality decisions, protected the ball, blocked when they asked him to do it. He's a 5-2 player, Timmy. When you sacrifice for your players like that, you do it all. Throw, decide, facilitate the success of others, lead by example. All of those skill sets come together to make for a solid quarterback and a guy that's got a chance to put you in the driver's seat, which they oh, nice one.
Yeah, how about that? Amari Pesek-Hickson. High hurdling his way up to the 33-yard line.
Henson looked like a triple jumper there. Watch this guy, timed it up perfectly.
Beautiful.
Nice. Very nice triple jumper.
On first down, zone read action, and Kendrick keeps it. Negligible gain up to the 36-yard line.
Nathan Latu's in the game, number 92. He's still playing at a high level. This Oklahoma State defense is not stopping Tim. They're being disruptive. They're trying to show that they're worthy of where they're going to be seated in the minds of people who critically look at this game. I think this Oklahoma State team is the best team in the conference right now. I just think they're playing that good of defense, and the offense, because the defense is playing good, doesn't need a ton of possessions. They're going to run and balance this game out and try to win in ways that are unconventional from the history here at Oklahoma State.
2nd and 7. And we've got a false start.
Right, offense number 2, 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Happened right in front of the official. Lawrence Arnold, number 2. A lot of freshmen, a lot of redshirt freshmen on the field here for Kansas. We mentioned Amari Pesek-Hickson, the redshirt freshman in the backfield now. Just had that high hurdle act out of Omaha, Nebraska, Blue Valley North High School. And here's a name we haven't called much tonight, Kwame Lassiter. Finally got a touch.
You know, they had to build that trips formation in a wide bunch to the far side of the field by motion. We got a down Jayhawk about the 30.
That's his first catch of the night. Now, would you have thought that when we began this game that it would take almost halfway through the 4th quarter before Kwame Lassiter would catch a ball? That's Adagio Lopetti, 72, who is the first offensive lineman off of the depth chart to come in for one of the starters. Can play literally anywhere, guard or tackle, and they're tending to him. Oklahoma State's remaining schedule puts them in a beautiful position. 2 Morgantown next week. TCU comes a-calling to Boone Pickens. Then Texas Tech on the road in Lubbock, and then Bedlam on November the 27th. That's Thanksgiving weekend. And remember, the top 2 teams, Spencer, will vie for the Big 12 Conference Championship. And if Oklahoma happens to remain undefeated, as you see Kendrick holding on to it, stopped back at the 34-yard line.
You're thinking a double dip?
I'm thinking a double dip.
Yep.
And that would probably happen were Oklahoma to lose that game, and it's competitive to Oklahoma State, right? Well, now, Baylor figures into this equation. Let's give Dave Aranda's team a lot of credit.
No question about it.
They have very quietly managed to go 7-1.
But it sorts itself out
win.
if it's one loss each. You know, it sorts itself out.
Vernon will boot it away. Jaden Nixon stopped at the 20. 48-yard boot, 2-yard return. We'll be back. Here's a little Who Am I, Spencer. Graduated with an advertising degree in '84, won 22 Academy of Country Music Awards, 6 Entertainer of the Year awards.
Garth Brooks.
Hell, yes,
Come on,
absolutely.
Man.
It's got to be Garth. I don't know where Jake Jolivet is getting these incredibly easy
softballs like that.
I mean, those are softballs, man.
I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma, brother.
Of course. It's got to be Garth.
That's the buckle of the Bible and country belt right there.
Ethan Bullock in at quarterback now for Garth's team.
Yes, sir.
And Jaden Nixon carries it again up to the 21-yard line. And that's not a heck yeah, that's a hell yeah when you're talking Garth at Oklahoma State.
Yes, sir.
I heard him on a sports radio show with Brock Heward.
I love it.
Driving a little over a week ago. I did. Garth was on Brock's show on Sirius XM. I kid you not.
I love his business acumen, man. The guy is a showman to be sure.
Yeah, he is.
He knows it from stem to stern. He's
a
performer.
It was a wonderful interview. I think his college friend and noted journalist from Oklahoma State, Brett McMurphy.
Oh, yes.
Was a schoolmate of Garth's.
Yeah, that's the
Oklahoma
connection.
State.
Okay.
Yep. And Brock, being tight with Brett, was able to get him on his radio show. I thoroughly enjoyed the interview. There's a little out pattern. That is complete.
Oh, I love that subtle move.
And a first down for Clayton Barber. His first touch of the evening. Everybody's getting into the box score tonight. Brett Bender is in overdrive.
Clayton Barber, just a nice little pivot effort, man, after that catch right there. The fans are loving it. We're loving it, too. How about the stash down there with this guy in the far right corner over here? How about that?
He's going as Ted Lasso.
Gardner Minshew post.
Yeah. I actually saw a meme that Tim Miles, the one-time coach at Nebraska in basketball, did of Ted Lasso. Now he's coaching at San Jose. Jaden Nixon is stopped. I think that's going to be a popular Halloween costume this year. Stephen Parker coming in to make the play for Kansas.
And that boy's from Sauk, baby. That's South Oak Cliff. You got to be tough as nails. You come out of Sauk in Dallas area, man. They produced some great athletes over the years, and I got some relatives up in Sauk, man. They're proud of themselves. South Oak Cliff.
Spencer, we haven't really spoken of Casey Dunn, the offensive coordinator here at Oklahoma State, as much as we probably should have. He's really done a remarkable job since taking over for Yursich, who left and went to Penn State. They're a little busy tonight with Ohio State. There's Casey, and he really is enthusiastic about this opportunity that's been given him, elevated. He's also the associate coach. Look at the number of big names in coaching. Todd Monken now at Georgia. Okay, Fedora was a head coach at North Carolina, now an OC for South Carolina.
That's a nice tree there from Mike Gundy.
You think?
Impressive. And this one he's got right now, I think, is a special one. We can talk about that a little bit here, hopefully, because he's a special one, I think.
Nixon again. Well, a lot of times, Spencer, I notice the emotions of meetings that we have with coaches, and it got to you a little bit when he started talking, Casey, about not only what it means to be an offensive coordinator at this program and with Mike Gundy, but what it means from a social standpoint for people like him in his business.
Yeah, the French call it raison d'etre. It's a reason for being. He feels a burden, and that's what touched me, to hear him talk about the narrative and articulate why he feels the way that he does. Yeah. He identifies as African American, and he feels that burden, and he knows that the context of our history is such that we live in a world of images and impressions, and he's wanting to put his best foot forward.
Well, with opportunity at times comes burden.
It does, and he accepted it. That's the thing about it, and he's walking so genuinely with it, but he is willfully, and this is why we succeed. When you willfully choose to accept those things that frighten you or make you uneasy, that is the difference. Because when you take it kicking and struggling, then you make mistakes.
Jaden Nixon again.
Can't be reluctant when you take on great challenges, man.
Look, we've talked so often about the opportunities afforded African-American
this guy
coaches.
Right here gets a lot of credit for it because
absolutely
he had an eye-opening situation. It's been almost 2 calendar years now, but I guess last year with the T-shirt situation and all of that.
While fishing.
Yeah.
And he got through it. And he managed to get through it.
It affected him, and I think that played a role in his awareness to elevate people who have a different purview of the world and the way it functions. So congratulations to all parties involved, and particularly Coach Gundy and his new quarterbacks coach.
Jaden Nixon ahead. You know, Tim Rattay is doing a marvelous job with the quarterbacks, and Casey is an offensive coordinator. We talk so often about those opportunities for head coaches to those of color, and Spencer, if you don't have enough coordinators, you don't get as many opportunities, and that again is one of the reasons why Casey is so thankful for the opportunity afforded him here.
Yeah, that still is the norm, although maybe you had one outlier case out in USC.
Yeah.
But that's because of recruiting. You know, when you have a great footprint in recruiting, sometimes the personnel trumps that, but it's rare that happens, to your point.
Ethan Bullock slides down safely at the 37-yard line. A lot of happiness over there. Shane Illingworth along with Spencer Sanders, with the books closed on them.
I love the fact that they're contrasting style players, man. That's something to prepare for. I mean,
absolutely.
If you got to prepare for both of them, you got 20 hours a week. You got to divvy that time up. And you know, I'm not saying that Spencer won't get the majority of the snaps, but just having both of those guys available to you.
Well, he's been hurt before too.
Yep, sure he has.
And in this offense, where they use his legs to the extent that they do, that can happen.
Nice
Illingworth's got to be ready.
Nice pickup.
Incomplete, as was intended for C.J. Tate.
When they look at the film, Tim, of this, in particular this last series, they're going to see a lot of near misses, where opportunities to make plays, picking up excellent blocks by the backs. These blitzing Jayhawks coming in trying to make a difference. But I see just a step away from these second and third tier players of being able to step into those new roles. There's a smile that's earned right there, man.
Well, you know, he's happy.
Sure he is.
His son Gunnar is now a freshman on this team. His other son Gage is a junior at Stillwater High. You know, he's got critics at home.
Yes, he does.
Not to mention the wife, but he's got football critics at home. He always talks about his kids when we visit with him. That's Kwame Lassiter.
He was talking about Gunnar, man, what, 5-6 years ago, before he even got in high school.
He did.
And he was,
you
know, making indications that he was going to be special. And he turned out every bit special.
He sure did. Set a lot of records in high school. And start setting records in high school football in Oklahoma. That
means something.
It certainly does. Second down and 6. Amari Pesic-Hickson remains the setback.
Dropping 8. Oh, nice fits.
They're so active defensively.
And you know, the crazy thing about it, Tim, they had a 3-man front, and they were planning to drop, if it were going to be a pass or some type of play action, drop 8 into coverage, and they were still able to populate the line of scrimmage. That shows you how fast they are. So again, watch this hit here at the point of attack. Just comes in and textbook tackle right at the point of the attack. Yeah, even the offensive quarterbacks like it.
That's all right. Here's third down and 4. Tough night for a wonderful man and a heck of a coach that's going to do a tremendous job in Kansas.
Good read.
Amari Pesic-Hickson, about a yard shy of a first down, it appears. Maybe less than that. Let me say this about the Wisconsin Whitewater legend that is Lance Leipold. I mean, when you do it at that level, and then you dare to come into Division I, you have to answer the question, well, how do you think you'll do with this level of athlete, this kind of recruiting? You got to be able to answer that question, and he managed to do that by talking about the system that he was going to bring with a general manager, with a player personnel guy, that it's a team. He brought his entire staff from Whitewater to Buffalo and from Buffalo to KU. And that's what it's going to take. There aren't many programs, I dare say none, where the head coach has had his staff, his ensemble with him. You know, it's business of relationships, just like ours, Spencer. Our booth is loaded with people we love and trust. And that's exactly what he's all about.
Well, in this zero-sum world of football, even college football, it's about familiarity. The old narrative is familiarity breeds contempt, but not for Leibold. He says, I need familiarity for trust.
That's right.
If I don't have that trust, I'm not going to hire a guy that I don't know because I can't trust him.
Well, gearing up for little Alex Faust and Petros Papadakis action coming up.
Save me some Spartacopa to Petros.
12 after dark coming up, yeah. Mike Gundy's team in great shape now in the Big 12, moved to 7-1, right there with Baylor, and just behind Oklahoma, and controlling destiny as we move forward. For Spencer Tillman, our entire crew, Scott Alexander, and Brett Bender. Tim Brando, so long. Let's get to the studio. Mike Hill in Los Angeles.